Well. Welcome back, everyone. And in today's video, we will be painting the swords, the weaponry of these miniatures. That's what we'll be painting. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We'll be using this War Boss green on the sword bits. We'll be using this desert sand on all of the fabric that isn't leather. That's what we'll be doing. So let's give this a good shake. This will probably take the longest part to dry. So let's give this War Boss a good shake. Open it up. Open it up. Oh man. Oh Lord. Well, you guys didn't see it, so nothing happened. Don't worry about it. This green on my thumb, that was always there. Don't worry about it. Alright, and as always, we'll be using our Ball Zero Reaper Painter brush for our details. And we're going to wet our brush. Stick it on here. Make sure to thin out your paints, right? That's what we want to do. Make sure we thin our paints. Make sure it's nice and thin. Just adding a little bit of water here. Shouldn't need too much paint here. This War Boss green is pretty dark, but we do have a lot of sword. So let's see where it takes us. All right. Yeah. So we'll get this bad boy out of the screen. Put our finger on here just like we did before, and look at that. We're just going down, going down. Notice how I left that piece white is because I think I just realized that that's supposed to be metal. That's supposed to be metal. So we're gonna leave that color for right now. And like always, we're letting the paint do all the work for us. Nice thin paint. And we're not pushing the paint, we're not forcing the paint, we're letting the paint go where it wants to go. And don't worry about getting it on the base, not a big deal. We can touch it up a little bit afterwards later. This is why normally I do the base last, but I got a little creative here. And painted too much. Normally I save the base till very, very last, but against my better judgment, I painted it relatively first, which is fine, not a big deal. But what you'll see here is that with this technique, we're going to have to constantly keep going back to it. So, which is fine. It's not a big deal, right? No. Not a big deal. Alright, there's a few spots in here that I want to hit with the green, just so we know that the whole sword is supposed to be green and not just the tip here. So I'm just going to kind of touch some of these areas where I feel that it would be poking through. It doesn't need to be a whole lot, it just needs to be, you know, a little spot here, a little spot there. So I'm just going to touch it with this green to kind of show that the green's supposed to be there all the way through. Look at that. Look how cool that looks. I'm digging that. I Alright, clear this off. Get a little bit more water in our paint here. And we'll do the next sword. Yeah, moving right along. Nice, quick, easy. So it looks like this is the same. I didn't get the spot in the very beginning, but that's okay, right? That's alright. We go up. And don't be afraid to make weapons something that, you know, isn't steel. You know what I mean? Not everything needs to be gunmetal, you know. Make something different. Add like we're doing here, green or red or yellow. Be creative. And after you put it on, if you're like, hey, you know what? That actually doesn't look that cool. That's all right. That's fine. You learned something, you know. You'll never know unless you try, you know. So keep trying different things, adding different things, until you find out what you like. Me, personally, I don't know what I like yet. I like everything. So I try everything. Like putting green on a sword. To make these cool looking... I don't know if you've ever played like Oblivion or something with like the glass sword. They kind of remind me of that glass sword. Which, I mean, wasn't my intent. Wasn't what I was going for here. But it is a nice little happenstance, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm just painting all these areas. Trying to make sure that I get all the spots. And a nice watered paint will really go far here, because those little cracks, those crevasses, look at that. We'll just let the paint do all the work for us, just like that. I know that this is a lot of small crooks and crannies. It's hard to actually basically film. But yeah, look at that. Look how much that sword brings them to life. Just adding green, a different color. So we'll move on along. Luckily, like I said, these are pretty small swords, so we won't have to use a whole lot of green here. And then you see that color right there? We're gonna go right over that. It'll get covered up, easy peasy. Look at that. It's like it was never there. Oh, that's all supposed to be metal too. All right. Well, see, we're learning here. See, as you're painting, you might notice something like I just did, where you're like, oh, hey, you know what? That should actually probably be a different color. Well, that's all right, because see, after this step, after we get all the base colors onto our model that we want, then we're going to go back and do all the touch-ups. And that's when the detailing really is going to matter. See, I told you all to practice the detailing in the very first step when we were putting down that lead belcher. But this, when we come up here, that's when it's going to matter. That's when all those details are really going to pop out. When we put everything back to where it was, basically. Look at that hand. Look at that. Look how cool that looks. Alright. Same here. Put a little on our brush. And then we're just gonna move right along here. Moving right along. Make sure you keep a dry brush, and you'll know, because the paint flows much easier. We're looking again for the consistency of a thick milk, like a milkshake. Maybe a thin milkshake probably would be best. A thin milkshake. Move over there, little guy. Yep, we're just gonna hit all that like that. This paint goes on really easy. Now, as all of you can clearly see, right? Of course, I'm using Citadel paints, but you could probably get the same effect out of craft paints. A lot of people, you know, they say, well, is it better to use craft paints or Citadel paints? Or, you know, what's better? What's the best bang for my buck? The best bang for your buck will be miniatures paints, be it Citadel, Reaper, Vallejo, you know, whatever one you go with. Those are obviously going to be the best choice. The best choice because those paints were designed specifically for miniatures. They're designed from it. They didn't just steal they didn't just steal the paint out of a 50-cent can of paint and then put it in there. No. These are formulated to be able to stick to miniatures better, easily. You know what I mean? They flow better. All of that stuff. So, I mean, at a point, you got to trust the companies at some point, right? And it's true. This particular moment, it's true. So, but can you get the same effect? Can you get the same effect with 50-cent cans? I believe yes. At my level, and maybe at yours, I'm not too sure. Yes, you could get the same. The thing of it is, with craft paints, you know what I mean, such as like this pink or whatever, baby pink from Folk Art, it's very strong. This is a very strong color, and what you'll need to do is thin it down, and then know that your wash is going to have to take over a whole lot. It's going to have to do quite a bit for you. How do I feel about that? I think I might put one more layer of this green on. Just on the big swords, probably not the little ones. I think the little ones are fine. But I want to make sure that this big sword gets all the color that it needs. So again, really thin here. These big swords are kind of like the showstoppers, right? So we want to make sure they look like showstoppers. There. That's pretty cool, huh? Let's look at this one. You know what? I take that back. This one needs some too. We're going to put some more love on this. Now, I don't want this just to be a painting channel, but I also don't want it just to be a gaming channel, right? So, I'm going to try as best as I can to mix it up as often as I can. But sometimes, when your creative juices are flowing, you just got to roll with it. Got to keep those creative juices flowing. Don't stop them, you know. When your creative juices are coming at you, you got to make sure that you listen and apply them. I think that looks really good. All right, let's... All right, we're closing up the green. We won't need that. We won't need that green probably anymore. That's all done. And I think we did a pretty good job at detailing it. The next green, that after our wash, we'll probably put this for some highlights around the edges. But for right now, we're going to go... Oh, yeah, that was right. Sorry. The desert sand. We're going to shake this up, and we're going to put that on all the fabric. We're going to try to get that done here. All right. Get our brush nice and clean. So I'm going to start on these bands on the sword. We're going to start here, and then we're going to work our way to the other fabrics. So we're just going to touch them like this. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just like we did the belts. I'm not pressing the brush into, hold on, let me zoom in here for you. I'm not pressing the brush into it. I'm just kind of going over top of it until it picks something up. And I can see it since it's such a bright color that it picked up some paint. And that's all I am doing, is just pressing it on there. Yeah, these are going to look real cool. Oh, my bad. It's a problem with a manual zoom in and zoom out. I forget. I'll get better at that. Sorry, everyone. Look at that. And then we'll add the lead. Oh, you know what? Let's do the top bit too, up here. Just do that whole bit. I mean, it's fine to do the whole thing in the same color. The wash is what's going to bring out that detail of it anyway, so. Now for the top of these, you could either do in metal or in the green. I mean, that's up to you. The green, I think, would look cool too. Do whatever you think is up to you. And I'm not even going to show what I'm going to do for that, because I want you to all to have an unbiased opinion on what to make that top part. So I want you to do that creative flow yourself. And then, you know, when we're actually done, you'll see what color I picked. Did I pick the metal? Did I pick the green? Did I pick a whole different color? Did I pick a red or a yellow or blue? What color did I pick? I hope you all picked whatever color you thought was good. Now, if I pick a different color than what you picked, well, that's okay too. Because we all have different likes. We all have different preferences. Oh, dang. We got a little bit on his sword there. And instead of touching it up right there, I'm just going to scrub it off. Just like that. Wash off the brush. Get a little water on there. And then just scrub it off. It's one of the good things of having a strong bristled brush, is that it's pretty good at getting paints, that you put on there that mishapenly, I don't know if that's a word or not, I just made it up. Yeah, again, this doesn't need to be perfect, right? We're just trying to get on there, get some paint. Because like I said, I think all y'all, yeah, I just went there, will be shocked when we put that wash on. And you see just how all this stuff that we've been working on, how it all comes together. Look at that. Looking real good. Alright, next bit though. Alright, the bigger piece. This part right here. We're just going to get into it. Put it on there. Nice, thin coats. Don't rush yourself too much. I got a little happy there. But take your time. We want this to be pretty good. We want to make sure that all the colors are going to pop. And see how thin that coat is? I mean, like, it's very thin. It'll probably take a couple layers to do that. But now we do thin coats because thin coats dry pretty quick. So we do the thin coat so we can put a thin coat on there, don't lose any detail, and then come back in just a couple minutes. That's why we do it that way. The thin coat method, that's always the best part. And again, that's that's one of the hardest parts about the cheap paints, right? The cheap paints, if you thin them too much, what will happen is they'll start to part. You'll get two different sections of paint, basically. You'll get this chalky mess that's like the pigment, and then you'll get the actual water, and we don't want that. We don't want that. I'm just going to kind of touch down here so we all know that it technically keeps going even though we don't necessarily see it. And on this side, we're gonna, I think that this piece right here is part of the fabric. So I'm gonna hit that with the fabric. It may not be, it may be, I don't know. It's my figure, so I'll paint it the way I want, right? Look at that. He's really starting to pop out of there. That's what we want. We want that good pop. Make sure we keep a moist brush here. It's starting to get a little dry on me. And again, we'll just kind of press it in there. Again, don't worry too much about all the little crevasses and stuff, because again, all the crevasses are going to be definitely taken up by the wash. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. And look at that. You can kind of see hold on, let me zoom in. You can kind of see that his front part right here, it's almost already dry. There's still a little damp on here, but look how fast that is. And those are already dry. Look at that. So we are going to let him fully dry. So we're going to put him over here. I'm going to move on to this guy. So it's same thing here. Nice moist brush. And we're just going to go down the line here. Small strokes. Mostly letting the paint do all the work for us. Look at that. Look at that. That is such a nice pop to these minis. I'm going to get just a little more up in that corner. I'm going to get the sides of this fabric here. I'm going to get a little bit more water. With these brighter colors, having it just kind of flow in there will make a nice, good transition from all the different colors. Almost like a natural shading. And we're gonna hit that too. His little mask bit. Slowly working our way to the back of this guy. And look at that, just taking it easy. I hope you're all enjoying this. I am. And I wanted to show my painting, right? Because it's relaxing to me. And it might not be relaxing to watch. It might be frustrating to some people to see, like, oh man, Blue King Crab, I can't believe you did that. Why are you putting all those different colors like that? You had it perfect. Ah, man, I can't believe it. Ah. But that's okay. That's all right. Because their opinion, it matters just as much as mine. And my likes and their likes might not be the same. But that's okay. It's okay to not have the exact same like as someone else. It's alright. And actually, I kind of prefer it that way. Because you see, if someone doesn't share the same like as me, that means they have a different opinion or a different outlook on life, and I'd love to know it. I'd love to know it. You see, it's hard to make unbiased opinions. The best way to make an unbiased opinion? Get all the opinions you can. Ones you do like, ones you don't like. Get them all. Every single one. Look at that. We got 2 down already. And I think, you know what? In the next video, we're going to keep doing the same. We're going to finish this guy up here. I'm going to finish him up off the screen. And we're going to probably put one more coat on these miniatures. I'm going to put one more coat on these bad boys. So do that. Put the coat on them. We'll be back in the next video to do some detailing work before the big wash reveal. We're going to do that here on video. In the next video, I'll see you all later. Peace out.